Hello, welcome to the Artist Pivot Podcast. My name is Ayana Majorbe, and I am an actress, voiceover artist, mentor, and your host. This show is a bi-weekly conversation highlighting pivots and life lessons from the perspective of artists, those who work in and around the arts, and arts educators. For those listening who don't consider themselves artists, you can pivot too. Everyone possesses the ability to do so. You just have to be reminded sometimes. All of our life lessons have taught us to be better pivoters, and it is my goal to share these life lessons to guide and inspire others. Here is this week's episode. All right, y'all. So on the podcast today, joining me, I have Miss Walnette Marie Santiago, and she is an actress, author, and founder of Sippin Success, a highly sought-after community of actors choosing to live under the influence of success, both on and mostly off camera. Born in San German, Puerto Rico, and raised in the gritty streets of the Bronx, New York, Walnette is no stranger to culture and resilience, allowing her to gracefully embody roles from different walks of life, like BMF's Queen Pin to a member of Doom Patrol's LGBTQ community, Atlanta's most memorable stripper, and the CW's Dynasty elite, just to name a few. The oldest of six takes pride in having been led to expand her role in leadership by empowering rising actors to believe in their power and eradicate limiting beliefs to manifest the desires of their hearts. From 10 years of kissing the stage with her salsa dance shoes to 5 years of silver screen performances, the purpose-driven talent has no limits in the arts and will continue breaking through glass ceilings while pouring into others on her inevitable rise. Oh, come on, intro. If I say it myself, y'all,
Yes.
Here she is. Hello, Walnette. How are you doing?
Hi, I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm really, really grateful to be here.
Oh, you're so very welcome. You're so very welcome. So I'm going to start with a question that I really, really love, and it throws most people off. That's why I keep doing it. So, so if I ask you to text me right now, so if I say, okay, Walnette, how are you doing today? And you reply to this text, but you can only reply in emojis only, what would you text me?
I would text you the cheesy face because I'm literally cheesing right now. I would probably send like the prayer hands and the 3 little like star things. And probably like the face with the 3 hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be the
Yeah.
ones.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that imaginary text.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. And I'm so excited to talk to you today about your journey, your pivots, your life lessons, because I know you got a lot of them. Just by being an actress, being a human, and an entrepreneur. So there's a lot we can talk about. So I just want to start with, I guess I would say the beginning of your journey, but really, your journey as an actress and how that started, and then continuing, your life pivots and lessons.
Yeah. So the start of this bad boy here, I was in college. I attended Georgia State University, and I was so lost. Like my major was journalism with a minor in psychology, both things that I genuinely was interested in, just not enough, right? So I just felt very lost. I always say I was enrolled in school, but I didn't actually like attend classes. So I was one of those. And after a year, I was just, I was fortunate enough to have a scholarship, and I kind of took that for granted. So after a year, I lost the scholarship for not attending classes. And I was like, okay, something's got to give. I gave it one more semester, and there was like a French class that I probably went to like 50% of the time because I've just always loved the language. So I had a conversation with my mom about it, and she was like, hey, Tyler Perry is doing this extras casting thing. I hear it on the radio. You should, submit. I
Mhm.
did. And I ended up meeting someone on set who was a part of an independent project. She's
Mhm.
like, hey, you have like the perfect look for this character. Would you be interested in auditioning? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Mhm.
I auditioned and I booked it. And when I booked, I ended up crying tears of joy for the first time in my life.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, wait a minute. There's something here.
Mhm.
Um, and that was like the first indication that this was something that I needed to be doing with my life. And then as I, continued to grow and take classes, I realized that it was really and truly helping me unlock certain things and
Mhm.
emotions and just grow as a person as well. So
Mhm.
I fell in love with that.
Yeah.
And now we're here,
Mhm.
still growing,
Yes.
still learning.
Ooh, that part. Still growing and still
Okay.
learning.
It never stops.
Right.
Every time you think you get something, God's like, here you go. Here's another one.
Right.
Like,
Right. Oh, you thought you
oh,
were finished? Oh, that's cute.
Jesus. Right. Oh my God. I was just about to celebrate that one. It's like, okay, girl,
Right.
celebrate, but you have to prepare for the next one. So,
Mhm. Mhm. That's yes, celebrate, but also prepare for the next one. 'Cause you're like, "I got
mhm.
real comfy. I was here." You'd be like, "Oh, oh, well, I guess I gotta
Just
oh,
kidding.
okay. It's just right. Just kidding." Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. So you were in Atlanta. So you get cast in, this independent work. And then do you stay in Atlanta or is this, do you eventually move or like how did your career blossom out of that role that you did book?
So I booked that role, not having a lick of experience, not having anything. I was so green.
Okay.
I truly think that experience was just to show me that this was my path.
Okay. Mhm.
Um, but probably I was in corporate America at the time as well.
Okay.
And I was working for a couple of years and I was just so tired of it. Um,
Mhm.
and finally was like, okay, I need to really lock in on this. If this is what I'm supposed to be doing, I need
Mhm.
to make sure I'm in the right classes, I'm meeting the right people. So I started taking classes with Dwayne Boyd, did a showcase, ended up
Mhm.
getting representation probably like a year or two after that first independent project.
Mhm.
And I was in the market I was in the Atlanta market for I believe like 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. In 2015 was when I signed um, the People Store. Shout out to them.
Mhm.
And in 2018, I actually moved to LA.
Okay.
At that point, I just wanted something different. I wanted to be challenged.
Mhm.
And initially, I wanted to go to New York because that was home for me. I'm from New York originally.
Yeah.
So just the comfort of going back home. And then I realized that I was selling myself short because you don't want to be comfortable if you want to grow, right?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
just, they can't really coexist. So luckily, my now fiance was like, I'm going to LA. And I was like, all right, I'm coming with you.
Uh-huh.
So we made the move and, did a lot of growing out there and self work. And I ended up getting representation and it was nice. But I found that within like 3 months of me being in LA, I actually ended up booking here in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, this is literally like, I remember landing in LA and I got a call back to be back in Atlanta that following Monday. So it just
Okay.
kept happening like that.
Mhm.
Um, and I was just like, I'm not moving back. But for me, it was clearly like, girl, you should. But anyway,
Mhm.
um, that happened for a while. And then I was like, you know what? I'm here. I need to make a decision.
Mhm.
I didn't want to keep one foot in and one foot out.
Yeah.
It's either you're all in or. So I ended up, leaving representation in Atlanta, sticking to LA. And it was great. But LA for me was more of a journey to self love and self discovery
Okay. Mhm.
than it was an acting thing.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, after 2 years, the pandemic hit, and I was like, I don't really like LA. And at that point, I'm very big on, just living a full life. Like, I
Mhm.
genuinely believe that we can all have love and happiness and joy and a family and a home,
Mhm.
and travel, um, and also be a phenomenal artist. So, I just made the decision with my fiance, like, hey, like, let's move back home. We can
Mhm.
purchase property. Can't do that
Mhm.
in LA just yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so we did just that. And now we're here and it's been great. Like, I'm so happy to be back in the Atlanta. Well, I'm not in the Atlanta market. I don't have Atlanta representation anymore. But um, just being here and being able to do what I love out of LA is the dream.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
very, very grateful.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I love that. And I wanna pick up on something that you said about living a full life. And I think, let me not even say all, I'm going to say from my experience, before the pandemic, it was definitely for me not living a full life. Like, because I was in musical theater specifically and out of New York, but traveling the world, doing cruise ships, doing all these different things, that was always the priority.
Mm,
So I've missed, couldn't tell you how many birthdays I've missed and weddings and funerals and just like get-togethers because I was like, no, my career. And in this pandemic, I have personally found, yeah, no, that's like that on the list now. Like, God, my family, where, yes, I'm coming to the barbecue. Like, like, it's like,
I'll be there.
I'll be there. They can wait.
Hmm.
If that's not in my schedule, I'm good. But also I made a pivot into voiceovers. So I know that I'm also saying that from a place of like financial privilege where it's like, oh, that supports me now. Theater doesn't
Right.
support me. So I
Yeah.
also understand that as well. But that of like living a full life as an artist and also discovering like for yourself that you didn't like LA. Cause I know a lot of people are like, no, I'm just gonna try to force LA to work. Like, I personally know LA doesn't work for me. Like, I'm an East Coast girl. I know that. But you were like, "Oh, okay, I tried it, and I know it don't work for me, so I'm going back to
Yeah.
Atlanta."
Hmm. LA is real cute. It's a nice place to visit. Um, but it's just not for me,
Mhm.
and that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Understood, understood. So, take me to the creation of Sipping Success and, like, how that was created. Because, like, y'all, I've done my research, and I'm so here for Sipping Success, but I want Juanette to break it down for y'all.
So, Sippin Success was actually birthed while I was in corporate America.
Okay.
And initially, believe it or not, it was just supposed to be an event. It was supposed to be like a vision board event.
Mhm.
And I literally still have like my notes where I was like, okay, if you're an actor or if you're in the industry, like, I'll give you a little discount.
Mhm.
Like, it was supposed to be like mimosas and vision
Mhm.
boards. That was
Okay.
my initial thing. Anyway, I was just talking myself out of this idea.
Mhm.
And then in LA, I was just feeling so, like I said, lost. Um, and I was like, okay, I cannot possibly be the only one feeling like this.
Mm.
And it wasn't necessarily that I was lost in my career. I just felt lost. I just felt a sense of like, not emptiness, but I just didn't like the way that I felt.
Yeah.
And, I was like, we don't have a space as creatives where we can really dive into the mental and emotional and spiritual effects that this career has on us. There's not
Mhm.
enough of that, especially not in LA. But I realize, especially when it comes to training, is that LA is very, which is a beautiful thing, but they're very much so like, you have to train like an athlete, spend 4 to 5 hours
Um,
every single day acting. And I'm like, but that for me is toxic
mhm.
because again, I want to live a full life. And I just realized that a lot of what actors struggle with, a lot of what artists struggle with is the balance.
Yes.
Um, so I was like, you know what? This is not the life that I want to live. And I want to make sure that I'm the one that's kind of pushing for people to really tap into themselves and tap into some sense of spirituality, right?
Mhm.
I'm not pushing religion,
Mhm.
but believe in something bigger than yourself,
Yeah.
right? and hold on to that. And that'll get you to wherever it is that you're meant to be. Learning the idea of surrender, all of those
Mhm.
things that I was thinking and experiencing and feeling, I just wanted to share.
Yeah.
I wanted to literally lift others up as I climb. And
Mhm.
that was just what Sippin Success became.
Yeah.
I did end up having a vision board party in 2020, right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. I ended up, writing my ebook, pitching success, the actor's guide to manifest representation and sip successfully.
Okay.
And that was amazing as well. Like, I just genuinely wanted to pour into other people.
Mhm.
And it just so happened that Sippin Success was a name that I had already, had for years. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Great, great, great. So with that, because, the pandemic just threw us all the way right. I can't even say left field. We weren't even in the ballpark anymore. We were all just like, what? Um, so with that, how did you, in essence, pivot Sippin' Success and go, okay, so I had the vision board party, but now we literally can't gather. What else can I do to like
Yeah.
build a community?
So I actually don't even think I did that well pivoting.
Okay.
I just kept on, trying to, initially I was in denial. And I'm
Yep.
sure half of America
All
was,
all
where it
of
was
us
just
were.
like,
Yep.
this can't be real.
Yeah.
So I was trying to keep us like, just stay focused,
Mhm.
guys.
Mhm.
And then it was very real.
Yeah.
And that's when I was pivoting in my personal life as far as moving back to Atlanta and,
Gotcha.
just trying to figure out what life was then going to be,
Yeah.
because I'm not in LA anymore. I'm back
Mhm.
home living with my mom. Like, I haven't done that in years.
Mhm. Mhm.
Knowing how that would affect my relationship. So for me, I didn't pivot perhaps how, I'm not going to say how I should have, because everything happens the way that it's supposed to, but
Mhm.
the pivoting for me wasn't really there. The only thing that I was focused on was my ebook.
Yeah.
Um, and that was just, it was perfect because it was online, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so in that sense, I pivoted, but
Yeah.
it became, I was internalizing a little bit too much. And it was like, whoa, okay, I
Mhm.
can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
So moving, settling, pouring back into myself, that's where we are now, where like I haven't posted on Sippin Success in a while. And for a
Mhm.
minute I was like, okay, maybe this is it. But I kid you not, every week there's someone who DMs me, someone who reposts my old post from like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. It's like, because it's
Mhm.
still very real. Like, I tried to
Yes.
be as transparent as possible, because why not?
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I know it's helping someone.
Yes.
So right now, I would say, if anything, I'm pivoting, and I'm just grateful for spaces like this that just remind me, like, girl, you have to make an impact, right?
Yes.
Like, that's what's the point of climbing if you can't bring anybody with you?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's where I'm at with that.
Yes. Understood. And you are making an impact. You are, even with those posts that were from a year or so ago. You still are. But also, I would like to say, give yourself credit for pivoting in your life. Like, that
Yeah,
is a part of pivoting as well. Like you said, you can't pour from an empty cup. So you're
yeah,
like, I gotta focus on this. And don't worry, I'm gonna get back to Sippin' Success. But to do it the way you would like to, you do have to, fill your cup up first.
right.
So, you pivoted in your personal life
I did.
for your benefit.
Yeah, I'm not
Yes.
complaining.
Right, 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 right. Yes. And so
Yeah,
then I would like to ask, what is, I guess, a lesson that you have either learned and that has now helped you in the area you're in your life right now? You're like, oh, I learned this lesson when I was about 20 and I kept that, or it could be something you're learning right now that you're like, I'm still learning this, but this is at the top of my like lessons list.
yeah. I would say the power of now and surrender.
Okay.
That, every time I audition, I have to
Mhm.
remind myself of that. Right?
Yeah.
You want to hold on to it where you're like, oh, I killed that. I can't wait to hear the call back and get it. And it's like, this industry is way too subjective for you to be thinking that that's going to happen just because you feel like you did the damn thing.
Yeah.
So really just being grateful for the audition in that moment
Mhm.
and allowing myself to let it go.
Mhm.
Um, some days is easier than other days, and it's
Yes.
not just something that applies to acting, it's something that applies to everything in life,
Yes.
every goal that you set for yourself, and then having grace with yourself as well. Um, those are all things that I think I've known and I've been actively trying to implement them in my life
Mhm.
in every way because I think that's truly what keeps us sane.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Yes. And that right, the surrender, the acceptance, the okay, this is the now and experience the now, whether it be an audition or whether it be a promotion at your job or, some type of family something, enjoy the now and not put what did I hear the other day? Like not have such like expectations of the outcome, like letting
Mhm.
go of the outcome and just being here. I'm here. That audition was great. Okay, now I'm moving on to the next thing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go out to dinner with someone, or I'm gonna like releasing control over the expectation. Cause like you said, especially in our business, it's very subjective. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, you could have had an amazing audition. Like one that you're like, I'm
Did
good.
that.
Like I did that, but you're still not gonna
Exactly.
get it because of the business we're in.
Hmm.
And yeah, that disappointment will set in real fast.
And it could linger if you don't allow yourself, you don't give yourself the grace. You have to feel it,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
right? But the
Yeah.
lingering is where things become a little bit dangerous because
Mhm.
who's to say that that next audition, same thing won't happen again,
Ooh,
you
yeah.
know? So really
Yeah.
learning to just take care of myself and doing
Mhm.
something that just makes me happy.
Mhm.
That's, it sounds so simple, but in the moment, it's really not.
Yeah.
So just really practicing that
Yeah.
for
Yes.
sure. It's
For
necessary.
definitely. Definitely. But also we take the things that make us happy, and yes, it's so simple, but we tend to complicate it so much. You're like, "That didn't need to be complicated.
No, just be, just do.
Just do. Just be. Just do it. If that makes you happy, just go do it." Like,
Right.
that's it. It's that simple that I think sometimes we're like, "But it can't be that simple." Like,
Mhm.
there's no way this can be that simple. Like
Like taking a trip. Artists are so afraid to go on vacation. And
uh-huh.
for what?
Mhm.
Because of a shoot window? Baby, if they not paying to hold you,
Hello.
go on that trip.
Hello. I raised my y'all can't see me, but I'm raising my hand because I am guilty as charged. Now, I don't like I'm about to go like on a vacation and my agent knows I booked out with everybody and I'm like, if audition comes in, I'm like, "Oh, I'm not available. I'm not
Mm,
available." But that this is post-pandemic Ayana.
yeah.
Well, technically we're still in the pandemic, but this is post-shutdown Ayana.
Hmm.
But before the pandemic, I was Juanette, I was that actor. I was like, "Oh, no, I
Yeah.
can't I have to be around for the auditions or they're holding me for 2 weeks." I was 100%. Now I'm like, "Okay, when I'm available, I will let you know."
And that's the
That's
thing.
it.
Also, understanding our power.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
don't know why that's something else that I really tried to focus on with Sippin Success, where it's just like, why are we walking into these rooms and into these spaces and living our lives as if they don't need us?
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, essentially we need them to, you know, climb and get paid. But they're looking for us. We're in that room for a reason. So at the end of the
Mhm.
day, if you're on vacation and they need to see you because they want you, they'll make it work.
Exactly. Exactly.
When it's for
They'll
you,
make
it's
it
for
work.
you. There is not one vacation that's going to come in the way of that.
Come on. There's that. There's that. If it's for you, it's for you. So they'll make a way. And if they don't make a way, then it wasn't for you.
Exactly.
But you know what? We're not taught that though. We're not taught that. We're not. Like that's just
Ever.
that we're just not taught that.
We're not. It's always like the cake is acting and everything else in life is the icing. Like, no,
Mhm.
it's the opposite. Live your full life and
Yes.
let acting or whatever your artistic career is, that's the icing on the cake. Like, you have to learn
Mhm.
to celebrate every single thing in your life, not just your
Yes.
career.
Right. Right.
So,
Yes. That's true. But also, how can you embody these characters or, express yourself in whatever your artistic medium is if you don't live life? Isn't art a reflection of life?
mhm, mhm.
So if you don't live your life, what are you reflecting?
What you think life is supposed to be,
Well, yep.
as opposed to the true vulnerable feelings and emotions and
Mhm.
all of those things,
Yeah.
which is what people actually connect to.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Understood. So I have one last question for you, and that would be, what would be your nugget of wisdom to leave with anybody who's listening, whether they're an artist or not? But what is your nugget of wisdom?
that's a good question. I think I mentioned them already.
Mhm.
Um, as far as finding something to believe in that's bigger than yourself,
Mhm.
really and truly tapping in with you,
Mhm.
right? Looking at yourself in the mirror and identifying what you want in life and what areas you need to, you know, um, heal.
Mhm.
And for the artist, live.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to live. They
Mhm.
need you just as much as we need them.
Yeah.
That's really it. And have grace with yourself. Celebrate everything. Celebrate the audition.
Mhm.
Celebrate the callback.
Yes.
Celebrate the fact that even if you didn't get the role, you were still in there. You were still considered. That's huge. That
Yes.
is huge.
Yes.
I had to overcome that last year, and it was really, really nice because I know that a few years ago I would have been, oh my God, heartbroken.
Mhm.
And now I've learned to have that grace and say, you know what? I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. And it's okay. It wasn't for me,
Mhm.
but something bigger
Mhm.
is on the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And stay
Yes.
in gratitude also.
Mhm. Yeah. Staying in gratitude.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
Oh, I love
powerful.
that. It's very powerful. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
you. So now before I let you go, two things. First, where can everybody find you? Where can they connect with you? Whatever you like. Your Instagram, your Facebook, your website, any of that.
Mainly Instagram, which
Okay.
is Walnette Marie, which is WalnetteMarie. And then, if you're an artist and you're looking for some gems, there's Sippin Success. I haven't
Mhm.
taken down any of the most.
Mhm.
And that's SIPPINSUCCESS
Okay.
on
Got
Instagram.
Okay, got it. Don't worry, y'all. I'll put all of that in the show notes so you can have it. Easy access. Click on it. You got it. And then the last thing that I must say to you is that I acknowledge you, I celebrate you, and I uplift you.
Oh, thank you so much. That is
You're
so
welcome.
sweet. I received that.
You're
I
so
received
very
that.
welcome.
And likewise, it's always love here. And I just love great energy. And I feel that having never met you before,
Right.
I in this moment,
Oh, thank you
which
so
speaks
much.
volumes. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm really,
Yes.
really grateful for this moment.
Yes, so am I. Thank you so much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you.
Please feel free to visit this episode's show notes for links to get in touch with my guest, as well as a link to rate and review my podcast on Podchaser. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, all you have to do is scroll down to the rate and review section. You can find and connect with me on Instagram @TheArtistPivot to see audiograms, fun facts, and posts featuring my guests. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already to get notified when a new episode is out. And please share this episode with at least one friend. Ever heard the phrase found time? Well, Audible helps you find the time to get more stories and information while commuting, cooking, gardening, exercising, etc. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs, news, business, and self-development. Every month, members get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals from a monthly selection, and access to daily news digest, as well as guided meditation programs. They have podcasts, theatrical performances, A-list comedy, and exclusive Audible originals you won't find anywhere else. Fun fact, if you listened to every title on Audible, you'd be listening for more than 3 centuries. So click the link in the show notes or visit audibletrial.com/theartistpivot to start your 30-day free trial of Audible and listen to that book you haven't read yet or laugh at a comedy special while doing the dishes. Again, that's audibletrial.com/theartistpivot. Using the link lets Audible know that we sent you and a great way to support the show. You can also support the show by buying me a coffee. Well, not literally, but figuratively. Click the support the show link in our show notes and it will take you to a site called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can support the show with your donations. If you do ever want to buy me a coffee in real life, my favorite coffee is the Italian brand Lavazza. No, they did not pay me to say that. This episode was edited by Kieran Niemand and produced by me, Ayana Major Bay. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll speak to you soon.